Filipino Cultural Nights, an annual event hosted by Filipino-American student organizations, pay homage to the native culture of the Philippines, while also elevating the conscious Filipino-American youth. These cultural nights, also known as PCNs, are usually planned a year in advance, with practices beginning in the fall, lasting until the event's date in the spring. For over 50 years, PCNs have remained a remarkable experience for Filipino Americans all around the world, by helping them embody their cultural identities in ways that are not possible at any other time in their lives. But as PCNs grow bigger and bigger every year, the original history and culture of this event begin to disappear. Filipino-American student organizations emerged in U.S. colleges and universities during the 1900s, but didn't grow bigger until the Civil Rights era. The Third World Liberation Front was a student strike at San Francisco State College in 1968 that established the first College of Ethnic Studies in the U.S. This brought curiosity to Filipino Americans and how they could better understand their Filipino roots, history, and identity. During this time, college students began constructing the first ever PCNs as a political action to shed light on their student movements and their hunger to showcase their histories on their own terms. San Francisco State's Filipino-American collegiate endeavor established the first ever PCN in 1973, beginning this prosperous event. From then on, other Filipino-American organizations began establishing their own PCNs with the same four key elements. 1. Performing traditional dances drawn from the Bayanihan Dance Company. 2. Musical performances like instrumental arrangements or singers performing in Tagalog and English. 3. A dramatic theater that addresses Filipino-American experiences. And finally, 4th, performing contemporary American dances like hip-hop. Although created in the 1970s, PCNs became well established and popularized during the 90s and 2000s, where many Filipino Americans began to redefine the Filipino-American identity.
I mean, college is such a fun time to really discover yourself and to really solidify, the kind of person that you want to be, and to really understand where do you come from, how does that impact who you are and who do you want to be going forward. And so for those who really have that connection to the Filipino-American experience, I think it's really important for the people to be able to come together and share it with each other and know that you're not the only one going through these experiences. There are other people who have similar experiences as you, and that this is a community that will make you feel like you belong. I had some knowledge already and I had some experience of the culture already, but it was definitely enhanced by being involved in PCN. It didn't dawn on me that there were different types of dances, of folk dances that existed, that came from different areas of the Philippines and different, during different eras of, Philippine history too. So that was new to me, and a lot of the historical information, I started learning in college, I learned much more from being involved in PCN and IB than if I had not. Out of the API community, Isang Bansa was probably the biggest organization at the time. My time at LMU with IB is I cherish those moments. Those were really special to me. And even a lot of my really good close friends are from IB. we all did PCN together,
Around the 80s, a group of students who identified with a Filipino background would come together, joined by their culture, and sometime down the line, within the next couple of years, they called themselves Isang Bansa, establishing themselves as the premier Filipino and Filipino-American student organization on the LMU campus.
So ever since I was little, my mom really made sure I knew my Filipino roots, such as cooking Filipino food at home, talking Tagalog, talking Bisaya. She even enrolled me in martial arts, so I did escrimas for a little bit. And by the time I got to high school and college, there were Filipino clubs that I really wanted to involve myself with. So I've been doing tinikling for 5 years, and I just now became Isang Bansa's PCN 2024-2025 coordinator.
Throughout my time at LMU, PCN has truly grown a lot. My first PCN experience was in 2022 when I was a freshman. And that PCN was held in Burns backcourts, just an indoor basketball stage, and it had a total of no more than 70 performers. And year after year, our PCNs have grown. My second year, it progressed in both performer size as well as dances and everything about it. And my second PCN in 2023 was on Regent's Terrace on an outdoor stage. My third PCN, 2024, grew even more. That one was on Drollinger Family Stage, and we had over 100 performers at this point. And this year's PCN 2025 was our largest one yet. We stayed on Drollinger Family Stage, which is the largest stage on campus, and having achieved that last year, we've maintained it this year. We maintained that 100 plus performer count. I think we broke 120 this year. And we brought in over 350 people for our audience, and that comprised of people from the LMU community, our families from all over California and even other states, and just visitors and people interested in the culture in our immediate area, as well as going as far as historic Filipino town. And going back to our performer count for this year's PCN, which again was over 120, not only was it our largest performer count, but it was also our most diverse. Obviously, Isang Bansa is a Filipino and Filipino-American student organization, and we welcome all of our Filipino and Filipino-American identifying students, but we also welcome anyone from the LMU community to be part of our family. And that was definitely evident this year.
Honestly, anyone can join PCN because Filipino culture is meant to be shared. Especially here at LMU with Isang Bansa consisting of not just Filipino members, but also non-Filipino members. It makes that community stronger because all you need is love for Filipino culture, the willingness to learn about our heritage, to really have that kind of same feeling. And PCN is one of the best times to do it.
Cultural critics such as Dylan Rodriguez argue that PCNs over the years have lost some of their cultural value due to their lack of political action. In 2000, UC Berkeley's Filipino-American Alliance received criticism for the prioritization of PCN practices over the Barrows Hall occupation. Many student activists protested outside Barrows Hall, while Filipino-Americans continued practicing their traditional dances inside. Critics questioned the importance of PCNs as they began to seem more like a fun showcase rather than one that addresses the political tensions of the time.
Now, sure, historically speaking, yes, it was seen as a political tool just to push for further studies on our identity, especially here in the United States. But for it to happen, sure, it's political. But right now, if you look at PCN in the present, we don't see it as a political movement. We see it as a tradition for us to really keep our culture alive. It's more of showing that we're here and that we exist. And honestly, we don't need to learn about these cultures if people already know we exist. But sadly, people don't even know what Filipino is. So there's a reason why they see it or use it as a political tool. And that's just because we're trying to fight for our right to be seen.
With the current outlook of the administration and how it's responding or planning to deal with DEI and adjacent aspects, I stand on the belief that it's important to preserve culture, cultural recognition, cultural promotion, and everything involving culture is so important to this country and the people of this country. A lot of what we have now and a lot of our history involves culture, cultural differences, cultural acceptance, cultural clashing, and it's important to not lose sight of that, of how that has created and developed everything that we have now.
I've heard bits and pieces from my parents, various history classes. A lot of it has been glossed over. Having that specific focus in Filipino-American experience about Filipino history makes me realize how impactful we are to the entire world, and makes me kind of more proud to be Filipino, even more than I thought I could be.
30 years ago or now, I think it's still important to the human experience. And, I think it's very valuable for a lot of people.
As these cultural nights evolve, Filipino Americans must recognize the significance of PCNs and how this cultural experience continues to be a symbol of political action. It is important that we as Filipino Americans celebrate our rich culture, history, and identity, taking up space in these American institutions.